Hello, today we're going to be talking about everyday mathematics and the digital version called ConnectEd. Your math book, your teacher edition, has everything that you need in order to teach math, but the online component is extremely helpful and beneficial, and I would recommend that you utilize it. So there's two parts to it. There is, when you log into ConnectEd, there's a teacher edition and then there's a student edition. And I'm going to walk you through both of those components. To start with, you will get a login and um, a generated password to get into ConnectEd. This would probably come from your building tech facilitator, or you might be able to reach out to your instructional coach on how to do that. When you get to the teacher part of ConnectEd, there's a couple things over on this menu that are going to be helpful to you. You can click on the planner and you can assign what lessons that you plan to teach for the entire year. And what's beneficial about this is that you can map out your whole year before school even starts. Sometimes, due to snow days or to other things happening, being sick, or something coming up, you might want to change what day you assign or what day you teach a lesson. And you have the option to do that through your planner as well. You also have the option to pop this up on your smartboard as you are teaching your lesson. So how you go there is you get to ConnectEd and you go to the Teacher's Edition. I'm going to switch over to a different unit so you can see this would be like the beginning of the year. So this is what comes up on your smartboard, and this is what your students would see. So you can click play presentation. What's really nice about this is it follows along exactly with the book. So these are your mental math, and then there's options to, if you want to go through all of these are the first three levels. It gets more difficult as they progress on. If you want to skip those, you hit the arrow down here. You get to your math message. Sometimes there's something on here, other times it's not printed, just depending on what the lesson is covering for the day. And as you are going through, if you don't see an arrow up here, up on the top right corner, this is your navigation tool to get to the next slide. And you just keep pressing the arrow to follow along if you want to go in order of what the book says that you need to do. Now, if you want to skip a section, if you just hit the 9 boxes at the bottom, you'll see the difference. This follows along with your book as well. So if you want to go straight to one of the specific focus slides or differentiation if you're in a small group. What's nice about this is you can pull up your student pages, your math workbook that the students see, and you can pop this up on the smartboard as well. I think I'll go back over here. So these are all helpful. I don't necessarily use all of them every single day. I do find that I go to the resources more than anything. There are a lot of references to games that the book has you play, and do posters that you can post in the classroom when you're teaching specific lessons. So if you don't have one of those, you can't find your posters or you can't find the games, you can just print them off here, or you can just pop it up on the smartboard as well. I do like that there is all of the resources that are printed are all on here. So if you wanted to send home the family letter or the homework page, you can do it all from here, or you can make copies off of the book off of the student edition books that you have as well. The activity cards are games that the students play in small group, which are referenced often and helpful to introduce and and develop concepts that they are working on. The math journal is the student's book that they see when they are working on their homework or their classwork or their small group work. So you can have that at your fingertips as well. There is a spot in here to set up your class with their usernames. So students will, I'm going to switch over to the student edition and talk about that for a little bit. Students can log in to ConnectEd on their iPad, and they can do it through their web browser. It is best if you set it up through ClassLink, the app ClassLink on your iPad, and get them logged in that way. They have the option to see their planner. They have their ebooks, which are their journals, plus I'm going to switch over to a lesson at the beginning so you can see what it looks like. Their ebook is their journal and plus their reference book. So if you don't have paper copies handy, or if they're on their iPad at their house, if we had a virtual day and you wanted them to go and find it that way, when they go into their ebook and they go into their journal, they can, theirs looks a little bit different on the iPad, what they see. They can fill this in using either a pen on their iPad or their finger, and it automatically can be uploaded so the teacher can see it. So you don't need to have a paper copy if you want to go digital, completely digital. The other thing that is super helpful and the students love to use are the online games. These games are grouped by ability level, and they can be played by themselves, or they can be played with a person in the room. They can also be played against the computer. So I use this generally during small group time when students are working independently. They can play a game that relates to the skill that you are working on. So I will usually say to them, today I want you to find addition and subtraction spin, or go to the shape capture if that's what we have just talked about, and I want you to play that game a few times, or keep playing until we switch small groups. They can play those at home as well. There are assessments on here that students can use. I prefer paper pencil, but that's an option as well. They can navigate, so if they got into the wrong lesson, they can switch lessons. They can see the math message on their iPad, so if you want them to follow along with you on the smartboard, they can do that. You can teach them how to log in, and it does take a little bit of time to get them set up, but once they have figured out how to navigate, it's not very difficult, and they tend to love to use the iPad in order to complete their lessons. It's very engaging. So these are the games that you would play small group, or it could be whole group. And what I like about this is it's limited to what you've just taught them. And so these are the ones that they would be doing just based around the lesson that you are working on, the skill or the standard that you're working on. When you log in to ConnectEd, you need to assign content to students before they are able to log in to the digital version. And how you do that is you go to ConnectEd, and there's a spot down here to manage content. every year you get a new class, and so you need to populate it with the students. There's already a master code here. You assign content to students, and then they are able to log in and with the picture code. And as soon as they're logged in, they shouldn't have a problem logging in every single time. It gives them a quick access. This would be their simplified login. They're looking for this icon, and they touch it, and then it gives them, you have like a red circle, a blue triangle, and a orange dot or an orange square, and they know what their login is. When you are on the teacher side, you can also go through you can also go up here, and this is where you can put in your profile. This is not necessarily used all the time. I generally come down here to my my teacher edition. That's generally where I go when I am logging in and pulling up information. I do like that the standards are included down here. That's very helpful. I do like the differentiation piece. I do also like the resources to give to student or to parents. You can hand them what we are working on, do anytime activities. This can be sent home to give to parents, and they can practice these. A lot of times parents will ask, what can I do at home with my students to help them improve in math? So this would be ideas for each unit. And then there's also a family and home connection page that you can give after every single lesson if you want. And then there's homework that you can give after every single lesson if you want as well. So there's a lot of options for parents to be connected to this math program as well. So I think that is the gist of it. When you are in ConnectEd, it is just a great tool for connecting to your math book. And the math book references the online portion often. And so it's just a great way to use the digital tools to enhance your teaching.